Bienvenue sur Pixel Pickers, le podcast pour les joueurs qui choisissent les pixels qui ont de punch. Je suis Javi.
I think I'm supposed to say I'm Josh. I don't speak a lick of French.
Oh, sorry. Welcome to Pixel Pickers, the podcast for players picking the pixels that pack a punch. Je suis Javi.
Je suis Josh?
Sure, that works.
Hell yeah.
How you doing, bud?
Oh, I'm great. I've been sitting in this chair for basically the past 2 days.
Yeah.
Actually, like 4 days because of Oblivion. And now because I am literally obsessed with Clair Obscur. Which, if you don't know, that's why this motherfucker is talking in French.
Yeah, I'm a little French pilled, as the kids say these days. It has made a worm. The worm has dug its way through my brain and made a nice little like nest, just firing off its little baguettes of neurons. It's in there. Clair Obscur is all I can think of.
So for those of you that don't know, Clair Obscur is the newest, hottest JRPG from some ex-Ubisoft developers. I don't have their name offhand.
It is an FRPG. It is Sandfall Interactive and published by Kepler.
Right. So it is a new French RPG, which is heavily inspired by Final Fantasy and the Persona series. And I would go as far to say also inspired by kind of like the PlayStation exclusives, like your Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, and like the way they handle storytelling, where they do it like more movie like.
Yeah, they just tell really good stories. But I don't think that's very different from how Final Fantasy's been for a while now. You can watch 20 hours of cinematics and that gets you no gameplay time.
That's true. But anywho, so we've both been playing a lot of Clair Obscur. I don't think either of us have beat it. I've got about 16 hours in it.
I'm sitting at right about the same. I played to 11 hours and then added maybe another 5 hours earlier today. So right around the same spot.
Yeah, and I just want to go ahead and say, this game fucks. This game fucks.
Yeah, it absolutely
so
rules.
Hard.
Before we get into a discussion of it at all, I do want to say we will not be talking about any story beats reaching past Act 1. And then we will be discussing systems. There are a couple of things that pop up later in Act 2 that we're still going to talk about, but it won't be spoilery at all.
No.
Just purely mechanical.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to spoil this game for literally anybody. Like, honestly, even if you don't like JRPGs, you need to try this game. At minimum, you need to watch like the first 40 minutes of it, give or take.
Yeah, I would say, being on Game Pass, I would put out a demo if you were on PlayStation, because the sampling just from the beginning of this game is good enough to get anyone hooked. Like maybe give some late game combat in it if you're gonna do a demo as well. But wow, it does pull you in right away. Story-wise, characters, the aesthetic of the entire setting that they've built. And absolutely the combat. And it does not make you wait 2 to 3 hours Persona style to actually get into some fun combat.
No, it throws you in there pretty quickly. Like the intro, like I said, it's about 40-45 minutes. You get like some tutorial fights, but it's mostly like story. But man, is it a hook.
It is a very good hook. Now, to go into the hook, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is the story of the 67th expedition from the city of Lumiere to destroy the Paintress. The Paintress has been painting up numbers on this large monolith out in the distance after the fracturing of the world. Every time she paints a number, which she started at 100 and has now worked her way down to 33, every person of that age and turning that age over the next year dies. Now, when this first happened, it wasn't really a big deal, but as you get down into the 33s and the entirety of your population is no older than 33 years old, it makes for a very odd feeling in Lumiere. Now, that's not too different how you would actually see a JRPG or most games. You don't really see a lot of people over their age of 30
No, you do,
in
you
games
do.
anymore.
You see old people in JRPGs.
Yeah,
They're
oh
usually
yeah,
just
I guess
decrepit.
you see yeah, you see 80-year-olds and you see 25-year-olds in video games, especially in
Unless your
JRPGs.
name is Sid, then you are 45 and you've had a hard 45.
Sid is 32, I think,
A
per the game.
hard
Yeah.
32. that
Talking Final Fantasy 7 Sid. Yeah, that
a
man is
7,
wizened.
16, just any of the
Yep.
Sids. I think the Sid in 15 is actually just an old man, I'm pretty sure.
Well, technically the Sid in that one is Sydney, so
Is the old
he
man
is
not
not an
Sid?
old man. He is also a Sid, but he's not the Sid of the game in that you don't get the same like things that you would out of the Sid.
That's fair. We're not talking about Final Fantasy. We're talking about Clair
But we
Obscura.
will still.
But we will because it's impossible not to when you talk about this game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that intro, it is uh so well paced,
Hmm.
so emotionally poignant where it
Yeah.
gets you attached to the characters and what's going on immediately. You understand the gravity of the situation they're in
Yep.
and why they go on these expeditions into this strange land to go hopefully take down the painters.
Yeah. That intro takes place during the day of the gommage, the when the paintress will be painting up 33, which means that everyone at that age at that moment will just disappear. And in those, 40-45 minutes, not very long, they have you do very small little side quests, very small little talkie quests, not even really fetch quests. But then when it hits the cinematic of all of these people getting Thanos snapped away, it's every character that you had the smallest interaction with. You just watch them all disappear before your eyes. They all have these little fun personalities and backstories, and they mean nothing for the rest of the game. And that's a good way to set the tone.
It is great. Now this game sounds very dour. It is actually not that it's not that dour. Like the premise and
No,
tone and like it is dealing with themes of grief and loss and how we deal with that as people. But it's
yeah.
also really funny when it wants to be.
Yeah, not only that, but just like the actual like tone and the aesthetic of it is very bright when it wants to be. It combines these very grim gothic architecture with these bright, fun, weird, crazy things going on when you actually get to the Isle of the Paintress. And it is so intriguing because there is nothing else that looks like it in video games, really.
No, it there no, there isn't. It like
No.
the it's game like when you hear the term like art design, oh boy, this game is art designed out the
Yes, in
ass.
the same way that a Persona game would be, and I think that's immediately where that like their GUI and their super designiness, all of that goes into like how this game feels so Persona-y the whole time, despite not really playing like a Persona game at all.
And I think it also one ups like the style fact. I think this game is way more stylish than Persona. Like 5, for example, last one I
I
played. Just
I
oh
don't necessarily think so because Persona drips style even when I press pause. Like every single element of that game is hyper stylized towards its aesthetic. That would be my argument. The game gets drab in its menus
the game
for Clair
does
Obscur.
have boring menus. I will give you that.
Yeah.
But you know the term in filmmaking, every frame of painting?
Yes.
You can pause any cutscene in this game at any moment and it is like wallpaper. Like
Yeah.
that is a
It's
background for your
very beautiful.
computer. Like every frame's a painting. Like they have aspect ratio changes in this game.
Yes.
It's like as like a little film
Incredibly
nerd,
cinematic.
it's fucking dope. Also,
Yeah.
Charlie Cox, Ben Starr, and her name's escaping me. The voice of
Jennifer
Shadowheart,
English.
Jennifer English, just acting
Yep.
their fucking asses off in this game.
Absolutely.
Oh,
You also add a, super veteran lover of video games and, former actor of many video games. Andy Serkis is in there as your mysterious white-haired man. the one who takes out the entirety of the expedition effectively when you all get there. So your main character, Gustav, voiced by the aforementioned Charlie Cox, is left alone and maybe a little suicidal after watching all of his hopes and dreams get dashed away as he realizes nothing means anything because we all failed immediately in our mission. This is why no expeditions have come back. This is why no expeditions have succeeded, and the paintress still just keeps counting down the years.
Right. So, and right after that, you basically go on the collect the teammates phase of any JRPG you would go on.
Yeah.
Granted, they do it different. It's still great, but I don't really want to delve into any more of the story past that. Besides, like
Oh,
maybe bringing
to be clear,
Jestrels up.
Clair Obscur, everything that we've said is launched in the story trailer. And there's even more that we've not said that the game will just go ahead and get out of the way because there's so much ahead of you that none of the actual base setup of the story is what's going to really like spoil or even really like excite you. Like everything about it is exciting and fun. It's just that the game gives you so much more as it goes on.
Yeah,
That they said, hey, we can tell you what happens in the first 3 hours of the game because you're going to be so blown away by the next 27 after that.
But can we talk about the Jestrels real quick?
Yes. Go ahead and tell me what a gestural is.
So they are these wooden creatures at the Isle of the Painters. They look like paintbrushes almost.
Yes.
They love to fight. They're really bad at it, and they all talk like French Boomhauer from King of the Hill. And they are all
I
my
believe they
favorite
have
thing.
a little Portuguese, actually, is what I'm hearing off from them.
Do they?
But because I heard amigo, and then but like a lot of the schluz also kind of that you get from maybe a Catalan, Portuguese, Spanish, French patois. Very fun. It's a nonsense language. My favorite is the first gestural you meet named Noko, and he just goes maybe a lot, and I love it.
Yeah, they just have some words they say in English, and
Yeah.
they are constantly hilarious. That joke never gets old to me.
Nope.
I'll laugh at it every time.
Yeah, the gestrels are absolutely amazing, and the fact that the game gives you the option to dress up as a gestrel in game is fantastic. From the get-go, it says, "Hey, do you want to allow us to change your appearance in a cutscene? You might look silly, but it'll be fun." And it's like that's the right attitude right away.
Yeah, like I saw that little like blip on like the starting menu, and I was like, oh, okay, this is I. It was like somehow it was like a sign like this is going to be good. Like this is made
Yeah.
by people who love JRPGs and
Yeah,
know what makes
absolutely.
them good. And man, so let's talk about the gameplay because it is
Yeah.
unlike any JRPG you've ever played. Now there are
Well,
things that come
yes,
close
because
to it in
yeah,
terms of like
yeah,
maybe your
Sea
Paper
of
Mario's.
Stars. Yep. Yeah. Less recently, Paper Mario's, Legend of Dragoon, anything where you're going to be, doing a little extra hit in or on time or on beat while you send out an attack. Recently, you have like Sea of Stars did it to great fanfare about 2 years ago. But yeah, it is not very common right now. And then kind of Yakuza, the Like a Dragon series, also gives you some nice timed hits, just not to the extent that this game does.
I mean, kind of. So in
No,
like
it absolutely does.
no,
You warm up this hit.
yeah. But like the timed hits for your attacks in this game are all for. So I'm playing on the Xbox controller because I have it on Game Pass. It's just pressing A at the right moment,
Yeah,
and it's very lenient.
yeah. I don't know what difficulty you're playing on, but I'm
Normal.
on. I'm on normal, and I don't know if it changes the timing. But it is literally they give you an audio cue, a visual cue, and when you hear the audio cue, you can time it out. It's about 0.75 seconds after every time you hear a ting, and then you can hit the X, and you're good.
Yeah, and you can also just see it. So it's
Yes.
super simple for like and it only works on skills. So you should realistically, unless you're not paying attention, which I do sometimes, never mess up. But what's really cool about how they do their battle system is there is no percent chance to hit in this game. You do a move and it hits. There are some enemies that, of course, some hits won't make
Yep.
contact, but when you make a choice in this game, that choice happens, which I really like. So it all comes down to your like the strategy you build with your skills and how good you are at parrying
Or dodging,
or
or
dodging.
jumping, or countering. All
Yeah,
of your different options to be hit or avoid being hit.
yeah, that's what if anybody's who watches like a battle from this game will notice immediately is the dodging and parrying system.
Yeah.
So anytime you're getting hit, you have to try to either dodge using the B button, I imagine circle button for you, or parry using R1 or right bumper. And the only cues you get are their visual movements and a little sound cue. And they will
Yeah.
play other sound cues to like basically make you strike out effectively, like swing early,
hmm
and it gets
And that's the thing is, it's very Dark Souls in their movements. It's your 1, 2, beat 3 of Elden Ring, of Bloodborne, of all of your FromSoft games. Like they are highly influenced on that, especially also when you relate it back to enemy design. A lot of these enemies look like they could be walking around in some, tainted lands.
oh,
Because that is effectively, the world of Old Lumiere. It is a tainted land now by the like crazy paintings of the paintress.
100%. And I would say it goes further beyond the combat system for like the Dark Souls inspiration. So you have like these expedition flags. That's where you like rest and level
hmm
up and all that. It also respawns all enemies in the area because there are no random
Yeah.
encounters. And it refills all your healing items. So you get a set
Yep.
amount of healing items that you can increase by finding items. But like that's like what was I gonna say? It's like Dark Souls like that where it doesn't fall like a JRPG format. So you can
Of
feel
buying
free.
potions, of buying heat phoenix downs, of using your mana
Yeah,
because you don't have mana.
no, you have action points which you accrue by dodging, if you have certain skills equipped, or
Yep.
parrying, or just doing your base attack. But
Yep.
there, honestly, at about 10 or so hours into the game, I rarely use my base attack. Oh, you can also shoot. You can free aim and
Oh,
shoot.
we'll talk offline about this. Your base attack is insanely powerful now. By the point where you are in the game, you can have
Oh,
certain characters doing base attacks that will double up and then double up on that, and then allow them to take another move on top of that.
I know what you're
We'll
talking
talk
about.
offline.
Yeah. There's a lot of different like builds you can do in this game using like
Yeah.
the skills you find in the area. You find these like passives that you can equip and you can unlock them so that everybody can use them. But
Yeah, another fun standard system I've seen over the last few years. Use an accessory or a passive enough on one character, unlock it for the entire party.
yeah,
Fantastic.
it's very nice and it only takes 4 battles no matter what the level.
Yep.
Like I have a level 28 one that like cuz I went to an area I wasn't supposed to be in, skirted
Yeah.
some enemies, got stuck, got killed, so I was stuck back there. Stole one of those pictos and managed to get out. So
Yeah.
like one of my characters just has like plus 1,000 defense.
Nice. Yeah,
But
that's the very lovely thing about this game is like even if you were to get stuck back there, as long as you were hitting your dodges, parries, and counters properly, you can make it through every single fight in the game.
yeah,
If
that's
you
how
are
I got out of it.
Yeah, if you are a crazy good dodger, parrier, you could put this game on hard and walk through the entire thing without ever taking damage.
Yeah, it's just
And
about
it is
timing.
lovely. Yep.
Yeah,
It is
if
just about learning the move and then getting the timing down from there.
so, like again, I hate comparing things to Dark Souls because it's such an overused comparison. I don't compare this to Dark Souls because it is hard. I mean, from like mechanical systems that it uses
Yes.
are very inspired. I just want to like put that out there because it's
But
an
also,
overused
we've said
comparison.
it a few times. The game comes with a difficulty meter. Like, it is obviously not Dark
But
Souls in that
it
matter.
is yeah,
Like, you
it's
can
not a
set your
Souls
difficulty.
like.
Yeah.
But what I like about like the items, how they use it, So I am a item hoarder in JRPGs. I will not use my items. I am scared to use them. I will always have like, well, what if I need it later thought.
Yeah,
And this game's like, no, just use them.
just use it. Yeah, just let him die and then resurrect him. It's fine.
Yeah. And I do. Or I just let them party wipe and I just try again. Because the
Yeah,
checkpointing system
that doesn't come up
is
as much if you're good at the game, but yeah.
oh, it
No,
does
but
when you're
it is really
under
nice.
leveled.
If you get wiped, you can just pop right back in.
Yeah,
Typically,
there's
your
some
save states are
fights.
pretty consistent.
There's some fights that are rough. I've died a lot in this game, mainly because I go against enemies that I shouldn't be. And I'm like, I
Yeah,
know it's because I know I can beat you, and I am. So
yeah,
then I beat them and I jump up 5 levels, and I just like crush through
yeah.
the story a little bit more, find another one of those, die at it 10 times, go up 5 levels, and rinse and repeat.
Hmm.
So my characters are usually a little over leveled for the story, under leveled for like all the bosses that are like hidden in the world. Because it has like a Final
Yeah.
Fantasy like overworld.
Yeah, that was immediately surprising to me in the game. Is I kind of thought it was just going to be your standard third-person action game, walking around through a semi-linear space. But yeah, no, you full on open up into a classic Final Fantasy overworld in which you are just little characters running around, and you see an enemy out in the world, you bonk them and fight them out there. Like it's great.
And there's other than like things to stop you from going into like story areas, like places you shouldn't be because the story won't allow it. There is no restriction on you like finding a boss that you are way under leveled for. Like right now, I am currently stuck on a boss that I found that can two tap any character I have, even the one with the plus
Mhm.
1,000 defense.
Yeah,
It just let me find it, and
yeah,
I've almost beat it.
absolutely. If you can get there, you can fight it. Like it will gate off stuff based on, your traversal. Like, oh, you don't have a boat yet. Oh, you don't have a ship yet. You can't fly yet. Things like that. But other than that, yeah, as soon as you get the ability to go somewhere, as long as you clear the path, unlock the bridge, do whatever, you can go there. And it's fantastic.
It, it like I would rather be playing this game than doing anything else right now.
Yeah,
Like it sounds
absolutely.
hyperbolic. Like I look, Jarvis. There's just no way. Like the best part about this game coming out and with its amazing soundtrack is that when
Oh,
they
a stellar. We haven't talked about the music at all, but we will come back to that.
yeah, I just can't wait for the Game Awards this year because my favorite part of the Game Awards every year is the Game of the Year medley, where
Mm,
they kind of do an orchestral version of all the Game of the Year nominees, and it's
yeah.
dope. But now there's no way that this game, unless this year is the perfect year in video games,
Yeah, at this point, it is definitely heading. Right now, we have this and Monster Hunter Wilds are
and
heading into the Game Awards.
I would say Blueprints also.
I don't know if he'll do it at the Game Awards just because it's the Game Awards. They make some pretty
Balatro
stupid
won.
decision. Doesn't matter. Like
Balatro, sorry.
they will still make a stupid decision every year.
Sifu,
But we'll
best
see.
fighting game.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I I I,
exactly.
I don't care
It's got
who
fighting in it.
wins.
It's a fighting game.
Yep,
Are you sure?
100%. Like your mom calling everything a Nintendo.
Yeah.
But the music in this game is amazing. You can
Yep.
say like just before
Yeah.
we started the podcast, I was humming the theme. I've been doing
Hmm.
that all day while I'm walking the dog, doing the dishes. It is infectious. Every track is a banger, and it's all usually like some strings. I couldn't tell you the instrument because I'm not a musician. You might be able to.
I mean, it's usually a full string, or it is probably a 125 piece orchestra at least, considering all of the different musical styles it runs through.
Oh
But yeah,
wow.
usually the string section is very heavily featured on this, string and piano for most of your going around stuff. But that isn't to say that in the middle of fighting, let's say let's go back to the gestrels. The gestrels are fantastic, and some of them are merchants. And to unlock the merchant's very best item, you have to fight them because, as mentioned earlier, the gestrels are dumb and they like to fight. So when you start fighting your first one, you're like, okay. And then he kind of morphs, and then just a sick guitar riff comes in, a Power Ranger face melter. And it's like, well, I haven't heard anything like that in this game. And
Yeah,
then it'll, a
comes out
certain
of
boss will
nowhere.
just have a full, like, huge percussion section with like the timpani like sending off his beats as he's fighting you. And it's not just the music, but the music going into the sound design. As I was saying, like, your own hits get stronger. It's so much easier for me to hear the musical cue than it is for me to watch the visual cue, because
Visual cue will lie. It will lie to
the
you.
the visual cue will show up in the middle of your screen or maybe over in the corner, and you're not quite certain when it's going to come up. But if I hear the noise, I know exactly when I need to hit it. And then, just like with the enemies, there's always just a faint woo right before they hit, and I can use that to time it out perfectly every time. But yeah, they love their Elden Ring. Your boss goes to make a big swing, and then he like flips his blade up in the air before he does the swing, and then as he grabs it, he does one more pause and then brings the sword down at you. Like, they love the lying visual cues for
They'll also
the
speed
parries and
up mid
counters.
swing. They will speed up an
Yes.
attack mid swing. Like it'll be coming, you're
Yeah.
like, okay, I got this, and like halfway through the swing, he's like, no. You're just like, oh,
Classic Godwin.
what was I supposed to do about that?
Yeah.
And then just
You
the
gotta learn
timing
it.
is
Sometimes you gotta take the hit, and then the next character revives that one that just got one shot, and you keep on going.
yeah, that's what I've been doing. That
Yeah,
or you just get good at dodging because dodging's a bit more lenient than parrying.
yeah, as it should be. Dodging is way easier. It doesn't give you the counter after a parry, though, or after a few successful parries, because some enemies are going to come at you with 2 to 8 string hits. And, in order to get the counter off, you have to parry everything from the first one to usually the penultimate one. So if it's, a 5 string hit, you have to do 4 parries in a row before you get the counter hit off.
You think
Uh,
you have to parry them all.
Nope. Some it will finish the attack prematurely if you get 2 or 3 in a row. I tested it out.
Okay, because I had a boss where I
Yeah,
had to like parry like 6 in a row.
yeah. Which means it was a 7 string attack, most likely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's your penultimate. Yeah, you're the one right
Got
before
it.
the final. Yeah.
Oof, man, some of them's just rough. I
Yeah. They're fantastic. So many optional bosses. This is, it would. The only thing that would surprise me about this being a Square Enix game is the fact that all of the characters are well drawn and likable.
not
None
being
of
a
them
Square Enix
seem to
game.
be, huh?
Not
Not,
being a
yeah, exactly. Not like a Square Enix game. And also the number of female characters, main female characters, they outnumber the men heartily in this, and that's been really great, really refreshing.
And all the characters have depth.
Yes, yeah, a
Every
lot
person
of
in your
depth.
party is a deep, full realized character.
Yep.
Like it's awesome. I just
And that goes into another system, another Persona like system that unlocks a little bit further in the game in Act 2. You'll get some changes going on, and then you unlock a relationship system. So while before, sitting around the campfire and talking to the characters was just the thing you wanted to do because they're very interesting and very fun, and the dialogue's so well written and acted. But now you get a little bit deeper of a conversation, and you up your relationship level, eventually leading to getting some better attacks. Definitely nowhere near the level of like the Persona confidant system or anything. It's very forgiving. You can talk to everybody in one night, but still, just another little Persona-ism, a nod to them. This is my perfect Final Fantasy Persona Souls game because it combines everything I like about those, and it really cuts out everything I dislike,
oh yeah.
surprisingly.
This game respects your time. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
One thing we forgot since we're talking about characters
Yeah,
in this JRPG, most characters is like, yeah, the mage, the warrior, the blue mage, the thief, whatever, right?
yeah.
Every character is unique in this game. They have their own
Oh, yeah.
mechanics and systems, whether it's getting 10 charges so your arm can do a super attack, or
Yep,
stance switching, or
yep.
one of them just has a Devil May Cry like
Yeah.
rating system. So if you get hit, it goes down, and as you dodge and parry and do hits, it goes up, and you get stronger hits from it.
Yeah, you
To
get to an S rank tier as him. Like, it is literally Devil May Cry style meter. It's so good and so unexpected.
yeah, like there's just and every character is different. Like
Yeah.
there's also
And
it's a lot to manage sometimes, but you get used to it real quick.
yes. Yeah, and like, obviously they play differently, but even within them playing differently, you can build them and spec them on the fly to have a completely different kit as well. Like there are obviously a lot of different builds you can have with each of your party members that come up in this.
Yeah, for example, I just found they're called chromatic bosses, the really hard ones that like you do not have to
It,
fight them, but they give you a
yeah,
lot
it's
of
an
experience.
alpha
And
of an enemy.
yeah, so I found one that they could is a triplet that can only be hurt by shooting them with the
The
gun.
the Orphelin?
No, no, no. It's three
Oh, okay,
separate
okay.
enemies that operate as one. They have one big
Oh,
health
okay.
bar, and you have to shoot them. You cannot hit. You can kind of hit them, but they dodge a lot. So you can't really
Yeah.
hit them with your regular melee. So I went there, got wiped by them because I just couldn't hit them, and like didn't have enough AP. And by the time I figured out the mechanic, I was like, oh, I'm already like 3 characters down.
Yeah.
Let them kill me. Just like, and it's like, do you want to send in the reserve team? I went no, and just like took the L. Went open the pause menu, respect everyone to up their shooting damage just on the fly. Went back in and died a couple more times as I tried to get the parry system down because I needed the AP to keep shooting. But took him down relatively fast because I respect everybody to do way
Yeah.
more gun damage and add burn on shots or add mark, and then
Yeah.
double it up by more crit damage on marked and more crit chance on burning.
Yeah.
Like the
If
game
you
is
like your
steep.
status effects in a game, then this is a game for you. The most fun I've had with a, JRPG like recently was actually the League of Legends Ruined King game, which is an amazing JRPG that adds in a laning mechanic in that you can go in the fast lane, the balance lane, or the slow or heavy lane to change up the effects of your attack. And it also changes up the timing of when your character goes in the initiative every single time you change each lane. Highly recommend League of Legends or The Ruined King, a League of Legends story. That's by Airship Syndicate, Joe Madura's company.
That actually
Yeah, very
sounds
good.
sick. Why haven't I not heard of
It's
this?
I've recommended it to you so many times, but your eyes glaze over as soon as I say League of Legends.
That is true. Why don't you lead off with all these mechanics and then say it's called a
And
king story?
Laura Bailey voicing the main character. Like, it's good stuff, man. I definitely recommend it.
Ooh,
Sub recommendation this week. Yeah.
I
The
might
Ruined King.
have to check that one out.
Yeah.
But I could sit here and talk about Clair Obscura all day, Jarvis. I'm not gonna lie. We're probably gonna end this podcast later and then just talk about Clair Obscura.
Yeah. We're just gonna
because
keep texting each other constantly about this.
it's just so fucking good. Even if
It
you
is that
don't
good.
like JRPGs, try this game. Like I know people are
Yeah.
like, I don't like turn-based. I don't care. Try this
Yeah,
game. It will probably change your mind on it.
if
Especially if
have
you are
Game
a Souls
Pass,
player.
you have no excuse. Yeah. Also
No
that.
excuse. I just hope, I want to see what this does for the JRPG like genre in general. Like
I
I
want to
want
see
to
what this does for the AA game. Because
mean,
that is
fuck
something
this.
we're not seeing a lot of, and we've seen it. I'm a big fan of the AA. Not quite an indie game, but definitely not a full, huge publisher release. That's Focus Entertainment does a lot of those. A Plague Tale,
Your
um,
Warhammer games.
your Warhammer games, but that still has the Games Workshop money behind it. That's still a lot of money. They just for some reason only bid out to small developers. But hey,
Good.
I kind of like that about them.
They're
But
making
yeah,
good games. I can't complain.
exactly. Give me more of these double A's that are, it's a dumb industry term that only has kind of come up recently, but it's been fantastic for me.
It's crazy to say that this game is like, if you look at this game and play this game has more polish and like sauce than
Yeah.
most AAA games. Like
Then
you,
Starfield,
I forgot.
for example.
You don't have to keep attacking me over that. Okay, look, I admit it's just a 7. This is like this game is like I haven't beat it, but this game right now is tracking to be like this will be on my top. Like if I had to make a top 100 favorite games of all time, this
Yeah,
is already
this is
tracking to be
already
on there.
this is in my top 20 easily, and yeah, I know I am itching for a new game plus on this one, and I do not feel that very often.
Yeah. Uh, Real quick question. So there are like little mini games you can find in this
Yeah,
game.
of course,
Jarvis, do you know what?
hosted by the Gestrels.
Yes. Do you know what Only Up is? The video game
Yeah,
Only Up. So for those who don't know, Only Up was like what looked like a Unity Unreal asset flip, where it's just a bunch of objects that stack into like a Tower of Babel into the sky, and all you're supposed to
yeah,
do is climb it. And this game has that as a mini game, and it
yeah.
is the first time you do it, it's the most annoying thing you've ever done because walking in a JRPG is they're never known for their movement
Nope.
ever. This game's
They're
not
not
either.
trying to polish up their platforming, even though they will make you do it.
So you can do it for in this game, and it's just the first one's like a balance and jump puzzle, and the second one I found is literally the only up tower. So when
Yeah.
I sent you a picture of it because I thought I was done, but it bait and switched me by having a stone gestural at the end of this walkway, and then I had to still go up. I was only
Still to
halfway,
keep going.
and I got all the way up there. And all you get for completing them is just swimsuits that you can put on your
Yeah,
characters because you can change their outfit. So I
it's fantastic. It was one of my favorite lines of dialogue. You win a swimsuit from the Gestrel at the first beach that's allowed to you, for you to visit, and he says, "What do you think? I'm some sort of swimsuit designer? Because I am." And it's just like, God, they're so stupid.
whoever is like, I need to look up who's writing in this video game. Like their
Yeah,
comedy, like they must have hired a comedy writer just for the gestrels.
yeah. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that this is ex Ubisoft, because there's a lot of Ubisoft feel to this, but it's just the what if we were allowed to actually be creative instead of focusing on being commercial.
Yeah,
That's
nothing in this game feels like it was made like a decision was made by a boardroom. Like this game
yeah.
is a labor of love, and it
Yeah.
shows that through everything it does.
This game could definitely have a writer from Rayman Legends on it. Like that,
It
and
probably
because that
could.
game's fucking hilarious. And yeah, it is the same vibe, the same level of stupidity. I love it.
So I want more like Western RPGs that are like Clair Obscura. Like
Yeah,
not Western as in like Bethesda Western, but like JRPGs, Western developer, like just
yeah,
non-Japanese developers to see what they do with it. Especially if
yeah.
they're doing shit like this.
I maybe I will send out like some sort of list or something, because I have a lot of actually similar games to this that are not double A's but rather like indie games. Like Chained Echoes is kind of doing the same thing. That's more of a Chrono Trigger. Sea of Stars I mentioned
I've played
earlier.
that one.
Yeah, that's an absolute amazing game from the makers of The Messenger, which is not a JRPG, but is another
Just a
awesome
dope
throwback
game.
to the, yeah, absolutely stellar. Don't look up anything about The Messenger before you play it. Go in blind.
Yeah,
Um,
love the
but
messenger.
yep, same world as the Sea of Stars. But also Airship Syndicate's doing a lot of work with that. They did The Ruined King, and then prior to that, they did Battle Chasers Night War, which is a really fun Western version of JRPG.
So I want to see it outside of the indie space. Like I love indie games. I
Yeah,
play them. I play Sea of Stars. I play these games. Okay, but I want to see like those games. Give them the budget though.
but as soon as you give them the budget, as soon as we're talking about a very large studio doing this, we lose the love. So I need people to be buying games like this that aren't from huge studios in order for these people to be able to keep making stuff. I need Supergiant to make a Hades 3 or a Pyre 2. Like, as long as they
Whatever they
keep
want to
getting the
make, they can
support,
make
they
whatever
will
they
do
want.
it. Yeah. And but that's another effectively double A studio at this point, because they aren't making games of the size of an indie game, and they aren't using the budget of a AAA, but they're just right in the in between both of them. And these are the studios that you're getting the biggest labors of love from, I think.
So they have a term now. They even have their own like conference, like kind of like E3 Summer Game Fest style. They call like Supergiant, they call those triple I's,
Yeah. I
which
don't
is
like
dumb.
that because it's like, hey, you're trying to be AAA.
I mean, it just means you're a big indie studio with a lot of money. Like,
Yeah.
technically, wouldn't CD Projekt Red also technically be triple I if we went by that logic?
Well, they with them owning GOG and stuff and being like such a large distributor of games, like I can't really say that they're necessarily indie. This isn't DC and Marvel. It's not the big two and no one else. I think indie is just a very ill-defined term within video game space,
Yeah, it's
as it
kind of
is now within movie space.
yeah, it's kind of like
But
porn. You know it when you see it.
exactly. You can tell an indie game from the stank on it.
Like
That
Dave the
good
Diver,
stank. Dave the Diver, real
which
stanky indie game, but
but published
has
by Nexon
crossovers with and has crossovers with Yakuza. Like
and
that's
Godzilla.
huge. Yeah, well, that doesn't really surprise me. The Godzilla and stuff, like a lot of Godzilla is like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle property where it will just tie in everywhere, and I love it.
Yeah, put it everywhere. Put
Yep.
it everywhere. Like I
Yeah.
almost downloaded Warzone for the King Kong Godzilla, like Kong versus
Yeah.
when Kong vs Godzilla came out. I
That's
almost
pretty dope.
downloaded Warzone. I didn't, but I did watch some streamers play Warzone and just seeing
Yeah.
Kong and Godzilla fucking shit up.
It's good shit.
But I think it's enough talk about Clair Obscura because I think if we talk any more about it, we'll probably get close to spoiling something because there is
Yeah.
something that happens right before you go into Act 2 that I really want to talk to you about.
This game is
So
very
good.
Final Fantasy. That's all I have to say. Character design, story beats, it's very Final Fantasy. And I'm talking 6
Like,
through 10 was
yeah.
the reference that I kept making. Like it feels like labors of love from directors and writers that were just allowed to do whatever they wanted. And it works because of that.
It's just so good. So yeah, we're gonna move on from this because we'll definitely spoil it if we
Reluctantly.
don't. Reluctantly, I really do just want to talk about it. But I did play another massive RPG this week, and
Another
immediately
small indie game.
small from a little indie developer named Bethesda. You may have heard of them.
Yeah.
This
Must be
is
an indie game. It was only $50.
was it nice? It was on
Yeah.
Game Pass, so it was what $10 a month or
Free
$20 a
99.
month, however much I pay for it. I don't know. Don't look at
Yeah.
my bank account.
Hmm.
Yeah. So Bethesda just shadow dropped Oblivion, the remastered. It's actually a
Shut up. No one cares. Every time I hear someone doing this online, I just think of you going, oh, the difference between a remake and a remaster. The difference is they can't call it the Oblivion remake because that doesn't exist. And they can't just call it Oblivion because they're not Resident Evil. So people aren't going to be like, oh, Oblivion relaunched. No, it needs to be called Oblivion Remastered or the Oblivion Remaster because that's the only word that means something to people. Like remastered just means new in game talk now. Either that
nowadays.
or
Yeah.
because
Well,
there's no remake that calls itself a remake on the title.
Resident Evil 2 remake. I'm pretty sure it does.
I think it's just called Resident Evil 2.
Sure about that? You sure about that? I'm gonna look that
Why are
up.
you Googling things on a podcast? You
I
were
gotta
talking.
know. I
The
need to
only
know.
one cell phones ruin podcasts and conversations. Can you imagine what they do to podcast conversations? The only one that's called remake is Final Fantasy because that's some Tetsuya Nomura bullshit, and it is literally about remaking the world.
Yeah, spoilers. But
It's not a spoiler. The game came out fucking beginning of 2 years ago at this point, I think.
yeah. But Elder Scrolls Oblivion got remade, remastered, whatever you want to call it. This again looks like a labor of love to the point where like any of your old like glitches and dupes still work in this game pretty much, which is crazy because it's on a whole different engine
Yeah.
and it still
Which
has
means that they programmed these things in.
yeah, and no one's
But that's
talking about that.
well,
No
I
one's
think that's why they are calling it a remaster because they didn't build it from the ground up. They still used the original source coding of it and then upscaled into the new system. It's a lot of work, but it's still, I guess that would be how they qualify it. The crazy thing about it not being called a remake is that it changes systems entirely.
Yeah, the
Like
leveling
that's
system
the
is way
weird thing.
better.
Yeah,
Way
the
better in the
leveling
new
system
version.
was so bad in the back one or in the
The,
first one.
the original.
Yeah,
Yeah. They changed the leveling system. The art style kind of changed a bit. I don't know if this is just moving to the Unreal Engine from wherever Oblivion was
it
on.
is. Yeah,
Because like I remember
the round
Oblivion.
face engine.
Well, yeah, more just like the colors. Like this game kind of has that Unreal brownish to it, where I remember Oblivion being like very bright greens, blues, very like fantasy, like dreamlike fantasy almost.
Hyper saturated is how I would just describe it. Is just everything was super saturated.
Yeah, but I felt like that gave part of its charm.
Yeah,
Like where you're like your greens
that's
are
not an
super duper
insult.
green.
Yeah,
When you say something's oversaturated, it kind of sounds like
I
it, but I can
didn't.
see
I
what.
said hyper.
Oh, you did say
Ho
hype.
ho ho.
Oh, I should have listened. But so like other than that, this game looks gorgeous. Like
Yeah,
this
yeah.
game,
Everything I've seen looks really cool. Yeah. Keep going about how good it looks.
it like let's bring up Starfield. It makes Starfield look definitively last gen.
Yeah,
Like you couldn't tell me Starfield came out on Xbox, what's it called now, Series X and modern PC. Like
yeah.
the fact that that came out only 2 years ago and this looks way better. Granted, they didn't have to rebuild and invent an entire game for it, so they had more time to polish the looks, I guess.
I mean, they didn't have to work on an outdated creation software in order to make Starfield. That was a choice to keep using the same engine. So,
Also true. Also
yeah.
true. But yeah, it's Oblivion like you remember it. It's great. It's still got some of that like nice jank to it. Like the first time I
Not
walked in
visually though. I do miss some of the visual jank, I will say, from what I've
there,
seen.
you'll
Everything's
get
so
you'll get
crisp and
you'll get some
clean.
you'll get some
No,
visual
no, no,
jank.
but I mean the entirety of it is very crisp and clean,
Yeah,
and it doesn't hit for me as hard as kind of the jankiness of Oblivion,
yeah, the
the
visuals,
otherworldliness of it
yeah,
almost.
the visuals lose a little bit of the charm, but and
Yeah,
that's what I was kind
but
of
they
worried about
look
as I
so good.
played it. When Patrick Stewart first talks to you and he looks like that good as the
Yeah,
Emperor, you're just like, ooh, oh wow, this looks a little too good. Like, oh my
yeah.
gosh. And I got out of the sewers and I went to like inn somewhere. And the second I walked in, so if you don't remember in the original Oblivion, everyone greeted you in that game.
Yeah.
Like,
Hello.
hello there, wonderful
Yep.
weather, or they just call you like orc or like something like that, where it
Yeah.
sounds a little racist. But I walked into an inn and everybody like loaded in right around the bar, walking into each other, and they all looked at me at the same time and went, hello, all at the same time. And I was like, okay, this game
Perfect.
they still got it. They got what I won this.
I saw recently that famously the original Oblivion has a line flub in which a woman, the actress, does her reading of the line and then she says, "Oh, wait a sec," and then does the entire reading of the line again. And they put that in and then had the character's mouth movements match the entire thing. It really is a true labor of love.
Yeah.
In terms of, creating what really draws people back to Oblivion.
And what's cool about this and what gives me hope is they've also, because this was a game that we learned about in the court documents, blah, 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 who cares? But in that court documents, for when the FCC thing happened, they also talked about in a Fallout 3 remaster. And if they can put that same level of love into that, we eat. I just need a Morrowind one. So more
I don't want to touch that one at all, honestly. Like I
Fallout
don't
3 or
think I'm
Morrowind.
not even really that interested in the Oblivion remaster because I like the original for its weirdness and stuff. I don't need it to be super polished up for me to
It,
still enjoy it. Like I know I can pick up Oblivion or Fallout 3 today and enjoy it and like the silliness of it.
I just like that they made it way more accessible because I don't know if last time you've played Oblivion, if
Maybe the last 6 months, not too long.
like you have to do some fixes to get it working on modern PCs, and that will deter 90% of people from playing a game. Is
I
that they
haven't
have to
had
do
that issue. I literally played it on my Steam Deck. So,
really? So
yeah.
it works on Steam Deck. So I know
Yeah,
for
I had
me,
no
like
issue on it.
like they have like games for Windows Live on it, especially Fallout 3 has that, which makes it super hard to do anything with because games for Windows Live doesn't exist anymore.
Yes, Fallout is a different thing. Fallout absolutely requires a lot of fixes still.
And I think Oblivion for me at least needed like a patch or two for me to like some fan patches just to make it run on my machine because it didn't want to work in 4K and it just could not recognize my graphics card. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And that was just enough steps where I'm like, I don't need to play Oblivion then. Like it was that easy.
Fair enough.
Like back in the day, I might have done it, but I'm just a little bit lazier now. And there's other things I
Now,
could play.
you're talking to me about like a New Vegas remake with some good bug fixes in there. Now I'm interested.
Yeah, just skip Fallout 3. You know what? You're right. You nailed it in one. Skip Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Make Fallout New Vegas.
Because Fallout 3 is the inferior game to New Vegas, just as 4 is the inferior game to New Vegas. Like somehow the indie developer, the semi-indie, took on that job and made something even better.
And now they are out there making what looks to be like it's going to be one of the funniest games of the year. Obsidian Software is making the Outer Wilds 2. Is that the right one? Correction. Outer Worlds 2. God damn it. Why'd those games come out in the same year? Why'd they do that? And why are they such different bespoke games?
Yeah, very good games. Outer Worlds is definitely, Josh and I have discussed this with other games like Horizon Zero Dawn. It is a good first entry, but it feels like it needs more. And both of those games get a lot better. I mean, Breath of the Wild is a good first entry, but when you give it more, it becomes the great game that it should have been. It could have been on release. So I'm hoping that's what Outer Worlds 2 gives us, is the amazing promise that Outer Worlds had delivered on. Because that's a game that I have maybe like 40 to 50 hours. Definitely haven't beat it. But I enjoyed the Outer Worlds a lot.
Yeah, it was a great time. I also didn't beat it because ADHD. That's why RPGs, I love them. I don't finish them. I don't finish RPGs, no matter how much I love them.
I don't finish open world RPGs. I will finish a JRPG or like a heavy character action RPG, like a Nier or something like that. But I won't finish a big open world. I won't a Bethesda game. Effectively, is you could call it a Bethesda RPG, and everybody knows what I mean. Is you are one person given a big world and a lot of missions.
Yeah,
and I enjoy the hell out of them. But I don't beat them anymore.
I think I beat them when they come out, and then like anytime I go back to them, I never beat them. I get 15, 20 hours into it, and I'm like, all right, cool, I have my fill.
I've never seen what's at the end of Fallout 3, the Liberty Mech, whatever that thing. I've seen it
Liberty
one
Prime.
Time.
Yep,
Liberty
one time.
Prime. Yeah, I will never see it again.
Yeah, never
I'll never get to kill the president again.
Unless they remaster it. Just saying.
Unless they remaster it.
I would love
to again.
Yeah, I would love to see Liberty Prime again. And I would just love to see how Louisiana... Was it Louisiana that you went to in that game?
The
swamps?
The swamps is Fallout 4, I think you're thinking of.
No, you go to swamps in Fallout 3. It's like one of their DLCs. It's not the good one. It's not a good one.
Yeah,
so it's not
I
really
thought
remembered.
the DLCs were China in the program.
You got that. The sequel, Liberty Prime. And then there's one more where you go to like almost like a swampy looking area,
like a bayou.
Kind of. I don't remember where it is.
I remember they have Far Harbor in Fallout 4, which is a little swampy and eerie. Not that good. By the way, Resident Evil 2 is not called Resident Evil 2 Remake. It's just called Resident Evil 2. Yeah. And of course, as always, we did talk about Capcom in this episode.
Yep, we did. Damn it. Didn't even think about it.
Yep. You never do. You did it last week too. Folks, he can't get away from it. He's got a problem. I'm going to go into his room and pour out a bunch of Dante and Chris Redfield figures and be like, what are these?
I actually I have 3 Capcom figures. Actually, that's it. A lot more Spider-Man. I've got like 25, 30 Spider-Man. We're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
But for Capcom, I literally only have Dante back there, and I have a Zero and an X from Mega Man.
Point
And that
Lookout is what you were thinking of, by the
Point
way.
Lookout was
Yeah, and
that.
Operation Anchorage is the name of the one where you go into like China. But no, that's Maryland. That is
Oh,
a
it's
swamp, but
Maryland.
that
It's
is
just a swamp
Maryland.
in
Yep.
Maryland. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to see what that looks like in the kind of like modern era. 'Cause we don't get enough swamps in games. Swamps are good. They're
I
scary.
don't
They're
want to see the
creepy.
pit in the modern era though. That was an ugly, ugly, very fun but depressing DLC.
It's just as ugly and fun in Fallout 76 because they do have the pit you can do on like one of the expeditions. But yeah,
Yeah.
Oblivion. It's Oblivion as you remember it. It looks pretty. If you haven't played it, it's a great way to experience it. Honestly,
Yeah,
uh,
it's fantastic.
Patrick
I'm
Stewart
excited they did that.
eats for the 5 minutes of dialogue he has in that game, and it's got some actually pretty decent writing. I think it has the
Yeah, no,
better
it way better than Skyrim in
yeah, I will
terms of
say
its
I think
actual
it's
story.
guilds, like it's guilds, because that's what I always remember. I never remember the main story of these games. I think that the
Yeah.
guilds are 100% better in Oblivion, especially Dark
Yeah.
Brotherhood and
Oh, yeah.
Thieves Guild. Like
Yep.
in the
Thieves
Thieves Guild, I think
Guild
you
still
steal an
knocks
Elder
my socks
Scroll,
off. Hmm?
and you like this Thieves Guild is one where you like steal an Elder Scroll eventually. I think like you do
Yes.
literal
Yeah.
heists, and
Yeah.
it's dope.
And then you also steal a book of Hermes Mora, the Dagon Dagon god of knowledge and wisdom and weirdness. There's a lot of fun in there. The whole game revolves around Mehrunes Dagon. That's really cool. There's a lot of really fun stuff with the actual like whole otherworldly lore of Tamriel and like the Daedric princes and stuff. Not to even include the DLC, the Shivering Isles, where you go into the actual like more so than just closing an Oblivion gate after walking into it. You go into the entire realm of the God of Madness, Sheogorath, and wow, that's a good time. I'm very excited to see what that looks like in the remaster.
That might. I think I found the area. I just haven't started it yet. That
You
does it
get
take place
invited.
after the story?
It didn't have to. No, as so originally, obviously, it came out like way post release because that's what DLC used to be. It didn't always launch alongside a game, but yeah, you could beat the story, but all it comes down to is meeting the one of the characters that invites you to go do
Oh,
some
no,
fun
no,
stuff
I
with
got that
Sheogorath.
invitation. Somebody just
Yeah.
runs up to you and says, "Here, there's this letter for you." And I just
Yeah.
didn't read it yet. I remember I got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a really ham-fisted way to get you to get into this
Well, that's
DLC.
everything. You like, to get into the Dark Brotherhood, you just randomly kill someone, and then the next day, someone's like, "Hey," well, not even the next day. You get woken up in the middle of the night, and they're like, "You got some darkness in you, brother. You want a hood?" And it's like, "Well, I don't." Okay, everything about the Elder Scrolls like random quests running up to you is always ham-fisted yet fun.
Yeah. But that's really all to say about that. Like if you haven't played it, play it. If you like Oblivion,
Absolutely.
you're going to like the remaster. It is the same game but prettier.
If you
Art
like Skyrim, how would you say that it translates as someone that's been playing Skyrim for a little while now?
it depends on what you like about Skyrim.
Oh,
If you like the customization and making all your own stuff, you're not going to like this game. Like you can
yeah,
the only way you can like there's a repairing skill in this game because there's durability on your weapons that rarely is a problem. So
yeah,
if you're just gonna be changing your weapons out more often, but
yeah. The mud crabs are gonna break up your shins, but that's about it.
yeah, and you'll get new armor as you go. You'll just change it out as you level
Yeah,
up, and it becomes more durable. So it's fine. But it comes with the benefit of there being way more unique items in this game.
yeah,
Uh, like you can find some and in the remaster, like unique items and weapons like have unique designs, and they
yeah.
which is very un-Skyrim-y, where everything
Yes,
looks the same. It's just it has
you
this
have a
effect on
really
it.
cool addition added onto that axe or something. And then also like you are not playing the God Fantasy in this one.
Oh
You know,
no, I
You
think
play the
you
God Fantasy in Morrowind a little bit, and you really play it in Skyrim, obviously. In this one, you are just helping out the important people, and that's very cool for a video game, I think.
Yeah, it's more like a Dungeons and Dragons like style
Absolutely.
story where you do things for the NPCs and then they do the cool thing.
Yeah.
But honestly, most of this game, a lot of my time in it has just been random dungeoning,
Yes.
exploration
Oh, it
dungeon.
has the best dungeons.
The
Just
dungeon
such
design
good
is great.
crawling.
Yeah,
Yep.
I've been doing a lot of dungeon crawling.
Yeah.
Like I haven't. I think I've closed one Oblivion gate, but I'm almost level 20. Granted, I
Yeah.
also jump around a lot.
I'm the same way. I was the same way. I would always ignore Oblivion gates until I was like, well, it's finally time to like do the main quest. I'll go shut all of these in 10 seconds.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, that's all I got to say about Oblivion. Is there anything else you've been playing other than Clair Obscura?
No. So, last week we were talking about, or 2 weeks ago, we were talking about blueprints, and that bug has moved on from me because I kind of allowed it to my wife is now playing it. And I will sit there with her and figure out puzzles, and we'll like write down little notes for the large in-game puzzles, and I'll do the math puzzle while she'll do the logic puzzle in the next room. So that's been really fun. Haven't really had a lot of games where she will take the controller, so it's been really fun and interesting to play it like that. And then also I started a replay of TMNT Shredder's Revenge again because it's so good,
Dope
and
game.
I could play that every year for the rest of my life. Hopefully, I will feel the same way about Marvel Cosmic Invasion, their next game coming out in the fall or the winter
You know
this
what's
year.
crazy that that's not the only Marvel game that's supposed to come out this year.
Really?
Yeah, the Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra
Oh yeah, that
is
game feels
supposed
like
to
it's just
come
gonna
out
get
this year.
delayed forever. I don't know.
Yeah. It
It
might be
looks so
something
good.
we see at Summer Game Fest, honestly. That's
Yeah,
probably where
that'd be
we
dope.
will see it.
Um, but yeah, that's where I've been at. I kind of spent the first little bit of the week just being excited for Clair Obscur Expedition 33.
Yeah, it's kind of how I spent my week. I played some Devil May Cry 3
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the show, and I was like, yeah, I need something to play. And Blueprints, I have it on my PlayStation. I really wish I had it. Like, I wish I owned a Steam Deck or one of those, like, I almost said mobile computers, but
mobile computer.
Steam Deck
An
lights.
Asus ROG, yeah,
Yeah,
or Steam
something
Deck
like that.
Heavy, an Asus ROG.
It's just something I want to be like, I want to like lay in my bed and play and
Yeah,
just like, I don't want to sit at my computer and play. It's the only problem.
you could always get yourself a PlayStation Portal. You know,
I thought
I
about it.
sold mine to the to Video Game Heaven over on Kali. Go ahead and pick it up from them. Maybe it's still there.
Honestly, yeah, because really, who's buying it? Because
Yeah,
that would get me to play Blueprints. Honestly, like I'm like, oh, I fuck with this.
yeah,
I don't fuck with sitting here and like just thinking about it. Like I want to like be
yeah.
comfy when I'm doing it.
That's fair.
So like honestly, that'd be a great Switch 2 game. If it comes out on Switch 2, I'll buy it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And whatever, Blueprint sequel or whatever they work on next. I love a indie puzzle solver on the Switch. I had a good time. I think I played Obra Dinn on the Switch. And that was great. I think so.
I don't
Yeah.
like it's like those types of games, JRPGs, indie games. I always get more mileage out of them if they're like on a handheld. Like my
Yeah.
Vita, I like that's probably why they make a lot of Vita things. I basically only bought indie games and JRPGs for my Vita.
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah,
And
that
my
is such a
Switch is
good
basically the
JRPG
same
game.
thing. Like
Yeah.
all I play on is like indie games and JRPGs because like it
Hmm.
just feels so right for them to be there. And I can't explain that. I
No,
think it's just because
I
I can
get
lay in
it.
my bed and be cozy while I crunch numbers.
And now it'll feel weird to be playing an indie game on the most expensive console when the Switch 2 drops. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I couldn't even get a secure pre-order when those dropped the other day. So hopefully they do another drop.
After our initial discussion and all of the more of the pricing stuff came out, I didn't even look for a pre-order. I was like, you know what? I don't really care. The only thing I need from this console is the Duskbloods. So I will wait until then, maybe, and if I even get it then, and then I'll go back and play, the $80 still 3 years after release, Mario Kart World, and I'll have a great time. I know I will enjoy all these games, but it's just the pricing has immediately pushed me back like a crucifix to a vampire's throat.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
No.
It's not great. But I really want to play Donkey Kong.
Oh, I do too. But I also know that I can definitely wait on that for probably a decade and still love it.
And still pay $70
Pay
for it.
same exact price, if not more, because it'll be like a premium title.
It'll be on the Switch 3, and
Yeah,
it's gonna be even doubly expensive because there'll be super tariffs or something.
but no DLC added. That'll come later.
No, it just runs at 120 frames now. That's it.
Oh,
And they redesigned Donkey Kong again.
yeah.
That's
Now
what
his
it's gonna
eyes
be.
came back apart.
Whoop, whoop.
He's like a hammerhead.
Yeah, Jarvis, I think that's all for this week on Pixel Pickers.
I agree. I think that kind of gets us to where we're gonna wrap things up now.
Yeah, because I really just want to go play Clair Obscur so bad. I need that game in my veins right
Yeah,
meow.
absolutely. That we're both just kind of pushing this off. We pushed off the podcast in order to maybe get a couple more minutes of game time beforehand.
I
I'm surprised
literally
yeah,
got here on time. I literally closed the game to come to this. Like,
yeah.
you're lucky I'm here. I thought about calling in sick.
Sorry.
But that's we end every week of the Pixel Pickers with a recommendation because life is not all about video games. So Jarvis, what is your non-video game recommendation this week?
So I'm gonna go a little broad, but then go specific on it. I'm gonna say the films of Bong Joon-ho. Recently, hitting the American eye with American Korean co-production of Mickey 17, starring Robert Pattinson, a very fun movie. It hasn't hit video on demand or anything yet, but I recommend watching that because it's surely out of theaters by now. But specifically, I want to go to my two favorite of his. My first Bong Joon-ho, 2006 The Host, which was his attempt at making a Godzilla movie while also referring back to the real life events of the McFarlane incident, in which U.S. Army, I believe, mortician ordered a assistant to pour 50 gallons of formaldehyde into the Seoul River. Now, of course, when you add this into movie land, you get a weird mutant fish monster that tries to destroy the lives of one unhappy and unlucky Korean family. Going through all of Bong Joon-ho's movies, he doesn't like to pick a single genre. He's kind of like a Guillermo del Toro in that, and I absolutely love him for it. So this movie is hilarious, devastatingly sad, scary, and just fun the whole time. And then my second would be 2019 Academy Award winner, Parasite. This is a movie.
6 years since Parasite?
Yeah. This
Holy crap.
this movie defies any sort of explanation other than it is about class warfare in modern day Seoul, Korea, and it is a really good time. If you haven't seen it and you don't know anything about it, just go in blind to it, knowing that it is mostly a comedy until it's not. But even then, it's still pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, my wife and I just rewatched that one like last month. That movie
Yeah.
holds up on a rewatch too, especially
Yeah.
if you know everything that's going to happen in the movie, it still holds up because the writing and the characters are so good and so well acted. It's just as funny and devastating as it was the first time around.
Yeah, the main characters of both of these movies are played by the same actor. I actually can never remember his name because I don't look it up. I'm just like, it's the man from the Bong Joon-ho movies. He's in almost all of his movies, but not quite all of them. He's also
He's
in
always
Mother.
the unlucky Korean man.
He's always unlucky. Yep. Snowpiercer, Memories of a Murder. There's not a bad Bong Joon-ho movie because the worst thing you get out of it is confusion. But it's a good confusion. It's like, I think I liked that, but I don't know why.
Yeah, I want to second that recommendation because The Host was my first of his movies also. I think that was the first one to really come to America, right?
Yeah, Memory of a Murder didn't really hit bigger. Maybe you would have seen it on like IFC or something back in the day, but I don't think it had a global release.
Yeah, because I remember The Host was least big for me because I'm a big kaiju guy. I like kaiju movies, so maybe I just
love a monster.
following that a bit more to where like I was excited for the host because I think I saw
Yeah.
a trailer for it at the movie theaters. And
Yeah.
I went and saw that by myself because I'm from Georgia in like 2008. No one wanted to go see a movie with subtitles on.
Yeah.
So that was the first movie I ever saw by myself, and it was a great time. Highly recommend going to the movies by yourself. It is an amazing time.
It's always fun. First one I ever did it for was Toy Story 3, so that felt weird, but I cried.
No, that's pretty good because then you don't have to sit next. You don't have to be like 17, 18 years old crying next to another 18-year-old in a room full
Yeah,
of
that's fair.
children. Because that's how it was for me when I saw Toy Story 3 on my senior year of high school, and really felt that in the heart.
Yeah.
So
What have you got?
I don't really have any recommendations. I'm stuck between two things.
Okay.
And there's two things I haven't finished, but I'm kind of enjoying. So I get what I'll do. So I made a deal with my wife. One of the shows I really love is Ted Lasso. It's it is a corny, happy show about a football
Corny, happy
coach.
man.
Yeah, about a corny, happy man about a football coach who comes from America to coach a Premier League soccer team. And it's just a very happy show, great show. I love it to death. I know it's the most millennial show ever in the world, but I love it. I came in my life when I was in a very dark place, and it really lifted me up. And so I've been trying to get my wife to watch it for years now, and she's like, "I don't give a fuck about soccer. I hate sports. I don't want to watch." I'm like, "It's not about sports. Sports just happen to be in it.
They're the vehicle for the love."
I made a deal with her. I was like, for every episode of Ted Lasso you watch, we'll also watch an episode of a show called Killing Eve, which is a show she discovered last year or a year before, and has since watched 4 times.
It's a good choice.
And we're about 3-4 episodes deep into both of them, and they both rock. Killing Eve is a BBC show starring Sandra Oh. Stop right there. That's all you need to go watch it. It's got Sandra Oh, also known as Christina from Grey's Anatomy.
And Jodie Comer, also known as Rey's mom from The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, she's also, more famously in The Last Duel by Ridley Scott. Oh, I don't know if that's more famous or not, but
I didn't watch that one. Thought it was like so 3 hours, and I was like, oof.
It's worth your time.
Is it? All right,
yeah.
I know
it's Jodie Comer.
It's one of those Ridley Scott. Either he cooks really hard or he just misses completely. It's a cooks really.
Yeah, this is a cooks really hard, and it is also much more quiet than a Ridley Scott movie. Very insular. Yeah, it's very fun. Yeah, it's his Rashomon.
Yeah, so Killing. Oh, I do like a good Rashomon.
Yeah.
Killing Eve is about Sandra Oh is an American woman who married a Polish man, and she worked for MI5, and she's obsessed with female assassins.
Yeah,
like that's just her thing. She thinks they're cool. She wants to track them down, like not like find them, but not like literally find them.
Yeah.
And she gets fired from her job, but gets hired for MI6 to find this female assassin that she kind of like pinged that was kind of traveling and people weren't noticing her. And it's about the interplay between her and this female assassin who finds out that Sandra Oh knows about her. This isn't spoilers because that happens like the second episode. And it is funny, it is sad, and just well written.
Mostly funny, but
mostly funny.
When it wants to be sad, it becomes devastatingly sad.
And I'm a sucker for Sandra Oh. I just love her in things. Like I watched all of Grey's Anatomy up until she left.
Yeah, no reason to watch after Sandy's gone.
Yeah, after Christina's gone.
Well, that's her name. But I said the person's name.
Yeah, no, Christina. That's how I learned of her, and she's also the mom in Invincible.
Yes. And then another shout out in Killing Eve to Eve's handler. Well, not Eve. Villanelle's handler. Who also went on to play Vesemir in the Witcher Netflix series, and he's so good in that role. He seems perfect for it.
Oh, I didn't recognize him honestly, but I haven't seen the Witcher show since it came out, and I only watched the first season.
Oh well, Vesemir's not in that season,
so that's why I don't remember him. There, that nailed it on that. I think I watched like the first episode too, and just like I was like, I'm good.
Nah, they do a lot of fun stuff.
Do they?
I enjoyed it. Yeah. It's not perfect, but it's more Witcher, and it's less Witcher with the weird sexism of Andrei Sapkowski. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, Charles, that wraps up our recommendations. Thank you so much,
absolutely.
everybody, for listening. You can find the Pixel Pickers on every platform, social media handle at Pixel Pickers Pod. You can find me anywhere at Josh494. And Jarvis, do you have anything you want to plug?
I just want to, as usual, give a special thanks to Regina Marzullo for designing the Pixel Pickers podcast logo to include our lovely faces. And other than that, all I have to say is, it's dangerous to go alone. Take us. Bye.
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 Bonjour.
Wait, no, that's the wrong one.